Hi everyone, this is Trish, and it's about 80 degrees here in North Ridgeville, Ohio, and I cannot believe it because we haven't had sun here in over a month, and everything's still kind of dead around here. The trees are blooming a little bit, but I want to go ahead and go out today and get some nice squash to show you how to make my squash boat. My cameraman has agreed to come with me, so I want you to go ahead and come on with me, and we'll have a little bit of fun. So let's get going. Okay, here we are. We made it to the market. We found some yellow squash, so we're going to go ahead and pick out the best ones that they have. Maybe about 6 of them. Okay. Hi everyone, this is Trish, and we're back from shopping, and we were able to find some really nice little squash, as you saw in our little video, which actually I was only able to do because of my cameraman, thank you. Also because of the manager at the store. I forgot there would be other people in there, so I went ahead and asked him if he could possibly have everyone kind of stay away from the produce section until we could shoot that little video you saw. Thank you, Paula, for encouraging us to do something different this week on our videos, because it was a lot of fun, and you know, little things mean a lot. I have 6 squash here that we purchased, and I took out the insides of the squash, and I went ahead, of course, after I washed them, and then we went ahead and placed them in this 9 by 13 inch baking dish. And it's sprayed with a nonstick spray. And now what we're going to do is go ahead and go on over to our stove and get started with the insides of our squash boats that we're going to be filling them with. So now we're on over to our stove here. What we're going to do is heat up a pan and add 2 tablespoons of butter, which we have here. We're going to pop that in our pan. And then we're going to add in our garlic, which is 2 teaspoons of garlic. And that's about 3 garlic cloves. The more garlic, the better. And if you want to, you don't actually have to use butter. You can use olive oil, you can use margarine, whatever your preference is. Then we're going to pop in 1 cup of onions. And onions make everything taste good. And these are Vidalian onions, and they are just great for this recipe to give it a lot of flavor. Now what we're going to do is just let these saute for a couple of moments, and then we'll move on. You know, little things do mean a lot. When I was younger, growing up, my grandmother helped take care of me, and I lived in West Virginia at the time as a child. She taught me so many things that are so important to me now, how to cook, how to clean. We had a big garden. We had these squash in our garden that were huge, and they were actually ugly. They had these little round bumps on them. I don't know what they were, but I guess it's just because that's what happens to them when they get really big. And at the time, I didn't realize the reason we were growing those was because my family was going to use those to dry them out so that the next year we'd have seeds to plant. Really a real effect on my life. She taught me a lot of things. And when I was younger, she also taught me how to be kind to people and how to give things away, which I really like to do. As I got older, I moved here to Ohio, and I no longer lived in West Virginia. And when I went back to see her, when I could drive, when I was about 16, we went to get ice cream, and I was taking her up to, it was called the Sutton Dam, and I didn't realize she couldn't remember things, and she actually couldn't even remember how to eat her ice cream cone. I had to help her with it. When we got back, I started to realize that she was getting forgetful, and before I started to leave, she looked at me and she said to me, she said, "If I don't see you again, I'll see you in heaven." And I knew at that point that she was losing her mind, and she probably wasn't going to remember me again. So anyway, as time went on, I got married, and I decided that I wanted to be a nurse. And that's when, I'm sorry. So anyway, as time went on, I decided I wanted to be a nurse. And that's why I'm wearing this nurse hat, because you know, we're all nurses in one way or another. And the kind of nurse that I became was an Alzheimer's unit nurse. I managed an Alzheimer's unit for about 12 years, and I felt that in doing that I was giving back to my grandmother, and I was also giving back to a lot of people who didn't understand the disease process, and it was really a part of my life that's now a chapter behind me, and now I think we better get back to our garlic. We're finished sauteing, and we're going to go ahead and add in our wonderful squash. It smells delicious. And we'll also add pinches of salt there. Okay, it looks like our squash mixture is now cooked up, and what we're going to do is go ahead and add it to our bowl here, which I have 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese, and I also have 1/2 cup of ricotta cheese in there. And we're just going to pop that in, and there's also an egg in there. That's just going to help hold everything together. Boy, does that smell good. Whew. Amazing. Wish you could smell this. Okay, I'm going to stir this up real well. And since we've got the hot meeting the cold, obviously it's really making it mix up pretty well for us here. And it won't be long at all until we can go ahead and add our cream cheese in, which we're going to do now. We have 8 ounces of our own Philadelphia cream cheese here that's going to make this recipe. And I also have something to admit to you, Paula. I actually forgot the Philadelphia cream cheese yesterday when I did a preliminary for this recipe. And that's why I'm actually wearing this apron that I made, so that I would remember the cream cheese. We're going to go ahead and add that right in. And even though I went ahead and put our cream cheese in the microwave for about 15 seconds to soften it up, it's not going to be a problem with it softening up the rest of the way because of the hot mixture here. Lastly, what we're going to do is add in our flatbread wheat thins. These are wonderful. They have a lot of flavor. They're a Tuscan herb flavor, and they have the sun-dried tomato in here. They have some dried onions. They have some dried garlic, and they also have some turmeric in here, which makes this recipe really nice when it's paired up with nothing but Philadelphia cream cheese. One other thing about yesterday, when I forgot the Philadelphia cream cheese, this recipe was horrible. You would not believe the difference between Philadelphia cream cheese and no Philadelphia cream cheese, trust me. So now we're going to go on over to our boats and go ahead and add this mixture right in to each boat. You want to top them off as well as you can. You don't want to be stingy with this at all because there's plenty to go around. There we go, just put it right in there. Okay, and there we are. We're on our last one and it's all filled up. And what we're going to do now is add in our cheese on top. You can add whatever cheese you like. I'm just going to go ahead and add some more Parmesan cheese. But you can add in Colby cheese, mozzarella cheese, whatever cheese that you like. And you can also put a little bit or you can put a lot, whatever you like. These smell wonderful, and they're not even baked yet. We have our oven preheated at 375 degrees, and we're going to pop these into our oven for 25 minutes. Right here. Those look wonderful. They're all crunchy looking and they're golden brown. And now what we're going to do is just plate them up. Oh my gosh, these look wonderful. And they smell so good. And what really makes this recipe is Philadelphia cream cheese for sure. I know for a fact because when you forget the Philadelphia cream cheese, you're in trouble. You know people that say squash don't really have any taste or flavor? You know, it's just because they haven't really had them prepared in a way that makes them taste good and gives them flavor. And this recipe certainly does give these squash wonderful flavor. And here we are. Our squash boats are all plated up, and don't those look wonderful? I have these little American flags here that I've placed on here, and my husband's going to love that because he is a major from the Marine Corps, and he loves any time that I can put a flag on anything. And I know he's going to also love the taste of these. Matter of fact, let's go ahead because it's time for the taste test, and we're going to try these out. The crunch. The creamy goodness. It is so delicious. I think I could eat about 6 of these. Wonderful. It's delicious from the inside out. You've got to try this. This is the Real Women of Philadelphia recipe scrapbook that I'm making, and I just want to inspire all the women of Philadelphia to maybe make one of these.